Good morning. It's April 26th. I'm popping outside to do a quick video in the front yard of the main house. We had 2 days of absolutely fabulous rain. And let me tell you, in this climate, rain is like magic for everything here. There is no amount of hand watering or overhead watering a person can do to make things as happy as the rain does. So I've never done a video out here or really talked about this too much, but all the lawn is gone now, and basically the kind of ground covers that are here, there's bishop's weed in the back where the sun's shining on it, and lots of what people call lawn violets. We just call them violets, but a lot of people try to get those out of their lawn. And I moved some sweet woodruff out here a couple years ago, and so it's starting to get a good foothold. And Sandra's almost got all completely violets in her front yard too, except for in her little raised bed. But so anyway, the smidge of lawn that was left, I guess that was last year, I went ahead and put this path down and got the rest of it out. But the thing I wanted to talk about, and there's the little library, the thing I wanted to talk about was when we had the water main break under the sidewalk. And I'm going to do a quick shot over here on the other side of the pickup with all the daylilies and stuff. And then that gate goes into the backyard, and that connects to the walk that I talk about that goes, there's the breezeway. Anyway, don't know what kind of tree this is. I think it's some kind of little crabapple. Birds brought it in, but it's beautiful. Mr. Buck kind of rubbed on it, but I think it's okay. Anyway, the water main broke under this wider, newer, brand new section of sidewalk, and it was a big one. The city said it was 1,000 gallons a minute that was pouring out of it, and let me tell you, I've never seen any amount of water like that before from a leak. And these pipes are so old here in the city, they fall apart pretty regularly and have to be repaired. But this one was caused from ground heaving because we had no snow on the ground or anything yet. That was in January, and the ground was freezing at night because the temperatures would drop so low, and then in the daytime it would warm up, and so the freezing and thawing was really hard on the pipes. And the gentleman that was here, he told me all over town they had pipes broken, even out at the airport, and it was because of that. And then in February, of course, we got 2 feet of snow, so everything was pretty insulated. But this was torn up until just a short time ago, and I'm going to have Tom splice in the video of the guys working out here in the middle of the night trying to repair this pipe. It's really loud, so I'm going to suggest that when you watch that part of the video, you turn the sound down, because it is loud with all the equipment and the saws and everything that were out here. It was crazy. Anyway, they finally came out after this was all done. The city came back out and it cleaned up all the stray cement that the contractor left and brought in a load of dirt. The stuff that you're looking at here on top of the Meridian, that's a compost bin and a half worth of compost that I brought out here to put down on the soil to hold it in place and to start kind of amending it, because it wasn't all that great of soil and there's a ton of gravel in it. Anyway, so my neighbor Colleen gave me hens and chicks, and I put those out here under the big elm. Miraculously, there were some grape hyacinths that did make it. This one, of course, didn't bloom. He's pretty tattered looking with all of the traffic he had all over him. But I had planted some bulbs out here, crocus and snowdrops and grape hyacinths, and most of those disappeared in the flood, as did the stones that were here at the end of this path. They must have fallen into the chasm that was out here, and it was deep. The guys would stand out here and they'd be like chest deep in this trench that was here. Anyway, I am going to, there will be stuff that'll come up in the compost, because my compost is not hot compost, so it doesn't kill all the seeds. That's why I don't put weed seeds in here. But there will be a lot of stuff that comes up in here, volunteer, which will be fine. I may move it out if it looks like it's going to be stuff that's going to be too inviting for people to pick. But so far, because I moved things out of the barrels that are for the tomatoes in the back, so the Judy flowers are here. I've got some, sweet woodruff, feverfew, that's lamb's ears, and I plan to get some clary sage seeds from Sandra because they'll smell like dirty socks and that'll keep people out of here. And I'm going to put a path through here. There's never been a path through here, but people have always cut through here. Plus, this is where people park if they want to park in front of our house, and so they need a way to get out and come to the house. So here's where the path ends over here, and I plan on coming straight across here but not going straight out. I don't like the idea of that, of the feng shui of that. So I'll curve a path through here. I plan to use river rocks because they'll get a better hold in here than the flatter rocks. But then on each side of that, I will do plantings. I'll keep the grass where it is because that gets run over all the time from Tom backing in and out of the driveway or people pulling in and backing out. And the other side too, because that's pretty heavy traffic. People walk through there all the time. So I'm not sure exactly what all I'm going to let grow here, but I want it to fill in and look nice, and then I'll have a path through here, and it might have some stuff growing in it like violets and things like that. But for once, I finally feel like there's a plan for out here. I'm pretty excited about it, and I have to say, for months I was so in despair over how this looked out here. This was all torn up, looked like a crime scene with all the yellow tape and the barricades and everything from January until just the beginning of this month. And so I couldn't even look out here, plus all the damage that had happened to everything out here from the guys, not the city guys, it was the contractor guys that were stomping through everything and throwing their tools down and everything else. Anyway, and there's some things that aren't their fault. This potentilla right here and the golden currant on the other side of it. There are a couple hydrangeas. That was all Mr. Buck. He was pretty destructive this fall when he was in here, but oh well. Anyway, so this is the front of the little house, and over, I did a swale originally, that's where all that bishopsweed is, that was not successful. My thought was, I mean, it wasn't to move existing water through the yard because that doesn't happen here. It's all bedrock under here, so when we get water, it just goes straight down. But there's a spout up there from a gutter, and I thought, what a cool idea that when we have our summer storms and we get a lot of rain in that moment or that time, it could run down there and it could go in the swale and the water could go out and water everything. Well, it really just sort of stressed everything out to have that swale there. So I filled it in, and what I'd like to do is plant like probably 2 or 3 shrubs kind of in a curve echoing that, and I'd like it to be currants, but if that's too drawing for the deer, I'm not sure if I'll do that, because we've got all these out here. I've got 2 white currants, and then I've got a pink jostaberry there. But anyway, I've been working really hard out here pulling bellflowers, and I think I got the first wave all up, or the first task of them. It's usually like about 3 times a year that you have to come out and pull them. But and of course that doesn't make them go away, obviously. But but this is the front yard, and those are pink flowering almonds. They're just ornamental. And then there are some stray onions out here, things like that, and some garlic. And this is some more daylily. And in here I also have milkweed, which has never been happy here, and it's not broken ground yet, but it'll be up later. But this is the front yard at the main house, and like I said, I really wanted you to see like how it looks now, and then I think a video of the absolute destruction out here. And you know, oh, that water, that was so hard to watch. I called it in at about 7:30 at night. I think they got here around 8:30. So for an hour, that water was just gushing like crazy. It flooded clear across the street. It flooded up into Sandra's driveway, flooded down to Heather and Dave's driveway on the other side of the pickup. It was clear up to the foundation of the house, the water just pouring, running. I had to excavate all these stones out after everything was done. I had to excavate them out from under all the mud, and there were big swaths of mud that went through, and I spread that out. And that soil was really good because that was all underneath the sidewalk and under the elm tree. So I spread that all out, and then the water ran. It covered everything, and it ran back down under the fence there, gushed down the breezeway, and there's a big hole next to the foundation. I think it was mice that probably dug it out. The water all went under there that ran down there. But it's finally starting to look good and put back together again. And I'm really, really happy and thrilled, and I'm excited about my plan. So anyway, this is the yard, and there's the fixed sidewalk, and I'll have Tom attach the footage. Oh, I do want to mention about the water. The thing about the water that was so devastating to me is that I am so careful with water. Whether I'm using a sprinkler or I'm hand watering, we take all the gray water out of the kitchen sink. That goes outside. My washer goes outside in a gray water system. So we're super careful, and are considering a compost toilet for over here at the main house. So that was really hard to watch. But that water all goes to the river. It didn't go to the sewage plant to be treated. That water goes out to the river, and there was a lot of it. I love you guys.